Yes. So what happens is, at the same time, urban industrial life has its own benefits. Those, it could be just as dangerous in terms of social and political stability as the hardships. You have to work more, to income more, to have the expensive, because food will be expensive in the urban cities. There are many encouragements to expect more from life, acquiring new skills. Many workers, a sense of self-respect and confidence comes in. Heightening expectations and desires. Living in cities, workers encountered material goods they have never seen in villages. And mostly people working in the cities were exposed to new ideas about the social and political order. See, this burger part on this cart which is there in Muzaffarpur, don't take it otherwise, was not here before. Someone must have gone to some other state and seen it and come and implemented it here. Ideas. But with our Muzaffarpur culture and its taste, the burgers are made. Correct? So that we like it. The chow mein which is made here in Muzaffarpur is not same in Patna. Or the chow mein which is sold in a restaurant next to the big bazaar in Muzaffarpur is not as the same in Yo China, which is just close by to the big bazaar. Again, the original Chinese food is very blunt. Original Chinese food is very blunt, it's very blunt. It's actually mostly boiled and stir fried, which we won't like. On the other hand, Thai food is, again, we get Thai food also, which is quite spicy. So there are different type of cuisines which people bring in, ideas. The social causes of this revolution, of this Rasin revolution, can be derived from centuries of oppression of the lower classes by the czars, of the czarists regime and Tsar Nicholas's failure in the World War I. When you keep on pressing someone, it's going to blast, right? Try a pressure cooker. Don't try it, please. A pressure cooker releases steam from all those holes, and that whistle goes up. It goes up, it releases. So when there is extra pressure inside, the extra pressure comes out. But it helps to keep the environment hot inside. Now, we block it with everything and put more weight on that. The steam is not able to come out. What will happen? We have closed it, we have blocked it. So these poor people were blocked. They were not given that freedom. What will happen? The pressure cooker will blast and it will hurt quite a lot of people. That 250 grams dal can cause you 2 to 3 lakhs, which is merely a dal of 250 grams. How much will it cost? 8 rupees, 9 rupees, max to max 10 rupees. That 250 grams of dal might cost someone's life. That's what happened in the revolution. You're understanding my point? So these revolutions happen because of oppression on people. When you try to dominate, that's where in civics also it comes in. History, civics is all SSC, that's why history, civics, geography, everything is related together. Domination, suppression, prejudice, discrimination. When these things happen, it's going to blast open. But while rural agrarian peasants who were always in agriculture had been emancipated from serfdom in 1861. Serfdom was under that feudalism part. Debt bondage, that you have taken 500 rupees from me, you have to work for me. Even if you pay, they'll say, work, no, your money is not finished. They were not, education was not. In 1861, this feudal lord system had finished. Bondage labor. They still resented paying redemption payments to the state and demanded communal tender of the land they worked. But they were still paying. The problem happened further. So slowly it's boiling inside. The pressure cooker, it's boiling. The problem was further compounded by the failure of Sergei Witt's. Sergei Witt's land reforms of the early 20th century. He was Count Sergei Yulievich Witt, also known as Sergius Witte, was a highly influential politician and prime minister in Imperial Russia. Key figure of the political arena of 19th century and the beginning of 20th century. He was made the count. They give you a position that he had done some reforms. But increasing peasants' disturbances and sometimes actual revolts occurred. With the goal of securing the ownership of the land they worked. Peasants were saying, this is our land. We are working on it. Our land, we are working and we are paying money. We are not getting anything. So revolts are going to happen. They wanted to secure their land. Ownership. Now Russia actually mainly of poor farming peasants. And this inequality of land ownership was there 1:5. 1.5% of the population owing 25% of the land. 1.5 people were only owning the 25% of the land. That means all rich people. Potatoes were the most easy. Their alcohol, vodka, is the cheapest in the world because it's made of potato starch. Vodka. Because potato is highly agricultured in Russia. Then rapid industry started coming up, resulted of urban places overcrowding and poor conditions for these workers. As I told you earlier, in 1890 and 1910, the population of the capital of St. Petersburg swelled to, what to say, I don't know. It crossed 10 lakhs, 10 millions. From 10 million it went to 19 million, with Moscow experiencing similar growth. Got my point? This is what was happening. So, this created a new issue due to being crowded together in the cities, which was more likely to have protest and go on strike than the peasantry had been in previous times. In 1904, it was found that 16 people shared each apartment, 6 people per room. There was also no running water and piles of human waste were a threat to the health of the workers. Bathrooms were jammed up, human waste. The poor conditions only aggravated the situation. the number of strikes and incidents of public disorder rapidly increasing in the year shortly before the World War I. Now, because this late industrialization started, Russia workers were highly concentrated together. 1914, 40% Russian workers were employed in factories. Of thousands plus workers, 32% in 1901, 42% worked in from 100 to 1000 workers enterprises, 18% in 1 to 100 work businesses. And in the US it was 18, 14, 30, 18, 47 and 35 according to this place. Most were employed in factories and workers' enterprise. In 1862 and 69, there were 6 strikes, annual strikes per year. This is just like Bengal. Communism came to Bengal also. 1870 to 84, 20 strikes per year. 1885 to 1894, 33 strikes per year. That means in a month, how many, just imagine. 1895 to 1905, 176 strikes took place. World War I added the spice to the issue. People were sent off to war knowingly. They were not wanting to go to war. They were picked up and put in the van and sent to war. The vast demand for factory production of war supplies and workers resulted in many more labor riots and strikes. There was this word called conscription. Okay. That means compulsory enlistment. Compulsory enlistment for war. Whatever work you do, I don't know. That is, you have to do it for the state. You have to go for war. So they didn't want to. This is what the scenes happen. So I'll come back in the next class and we'll take it further from here. So till then we'll keep it till here. I hope I'm able to explain and you are able to understand all about the Russian Revolution. So once you get my notes also, it will be in your head. Just read the notes and go through it and you will get to know. One shot you will say Russian Revolution, why did it happen? What was the causes? You will know. So till then, take care of yourselves, be good, be safe, and God bless. Respect your parents. Love everybody. Bye bye.